Hi, this is Ben Schwellen, and today I'm talking about the Võro people in Estonia and a bit of their language. The Võro language is a Finno-Ugric language, part of the language family that extends from northern coast of Siberia all the way across Russia into Finland, northern Scandinavia, and the Baltic coast. It's from the Finnic branch of that, so not Hungarian, down at the bottom. And the Võro language is part of the southern end of the Finnic languages. And it branched off from Northern Estonian a long time ago. We're talking prehistoric, okay? And there are four South Estonian languages. There's Võro, which is by far the biggest. There's Sartu in Russia. There's Mulgi and Tartu. Together these form a very close dialect continuum, mutually understood in most cases, but they're definitely different from North Estonian or Standard Estonian today. And you can tell that regarding the different Finnic languages, Võro is pretty strong comparatively to many of the smaller languages or Sami in the north. Like all its sister languages, Võro is an agglutinative language, which means it doesn't work like English, French, German, Welsh. You construct words by adding or gluing elements onto it before, mainly after, but sometimes in the middle of the word as well. And so it's difficult to actually define what a word is sometimes. And it also makes it a bit more confusing when you're trying to differentiate between the languages themselves, because they're going to share a lot of these gluing elements that determine how you construct a sentence. And this actually makes it more difficult in Võro's case because it's so similar to Estonian. There's an ongoing argument as to where is it a language or is it a dialect. Of course, there's the added element that Estonia is next to Russia. It's a very small country next to Russia, and they want national unity. You don't want a lot of differentiation from the core. So even a lot of, most Võro people are very happily Estonian, but there is that element of the Võro identity. The word Võro comes from, there's a city, Võro, and the county where the language or dialect is spoken most is called Võrumaa. And they, as their own people, are called Võrokõsuk. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Here's the word. The history of the Võro people has been very intertwined with Estonian from the very beginning, so it's difficult to form a different path sometimes. You have to speak about both and then pick out the bits which are definitely unique to the Võro area and people and language or dialect. Yeah, so it's really difficult to determine how many there are exactly because statistics are not counted specifically to have people who are Võro is separate from Estonian. Having Russia as your larger neighbor next door, you're going to aim for national unity. You don't want a lot of breaking away from the Estonian core, so that's a lot of the difficulty that the Võro language faces. And they themselves view themselves almost always as Estonian, which again is going to give a bit of difficulty into trying to define where the lines of being Võro begin, where they end. The first writing recorded in the language is a lot like many other languages. It was biblical. The New Testament was written down and printed in 1686. That's important because it gives a standard variety of the language at that time, and it allows us to ignite that date of 1686 as a starting point for a vernacular in a written form. Beginning in the 1850s, Estonia had a national revival, beginning with folk tales, printing in the Estonian language, developing out of Tartu and Tallinn. And this really had a centralizing effect which the Võro dialect or language couldn't really compete with. It didn't have those capitalist centers. The Postimees, or a newspaper in Estonian, was a milestone, a national newspaper. It was founded in Pärnu on the west coast on the Baltic coast, but then it moved inland to Tartu, which would have actually brought the Estonian northern dialect language closer into Võro-speaking areas, or South Estonian, and it marginalized. So ironically, the nationalizing of the Estonian people did have a slightly negative effect on the Võro language. It wasn't intentional, it was just unifying Estonia did have a negative effect on Võro, and it needs to be included in that history. One of the cultural leaders of this Arkamissag, Frederick Robert, and he was an Estonian German who was an Estonian file, and he translated a lot of the old oral traditions. He brought them forward into the Estonian language, and what this did is it marginalized Võro. It didn't have access to that cultural inheritance that was being used in print at the time. The big one was Kalevipoeg, which was an epic poem during the National Romantic era, and it was important that Estonian had this, but because Võro didn't, it did get left behind in this era, and we do see from this point, even though there is a publication now and then in the language of Võro, we don't see the same effect that we're seeing in Estonian. And as that national awakening really does proceed into the 20th century, we do lose a lot of what would have been the core Võro support being transferred into Estonian. So whilst we had print capitalism, moving the dominant variety of Greater Estonian language away towards the more Tallinn branch, which is the present capital of Estonia, away from the Tartu, the main actual language shift didn't happen until much later. Because Võro is an isolated county, it has lakes on one side, Latvian woods on the other, a bit of Russia. It's far away from the majority of Estonia itself. It was protected. You had the Muugi and Tartu branches of southern Estonian kind of shielding Võro from being absorbed, and Sortu on the Russian side, preventing it again from being absorbed. So Võro survived because it was more isolated, difficult to reach from these other centers of power, which allowed it time to develop on its own. However, when we get into the 20th century and we have the threat of communism, that is really when we notice the first the significant decline of Võro, because Soviets and really far left communist people aren't really tolerant. They aren't really tolerant of minority languages, because you can't actually control another people economically if they're going to be speaking through a different language. During the Soviet occupation of Estonia, beginning in 1944, as they chased the Nazis out, we had partisan guerrilla bands known as the Forest Brothers, or in Estonian, and these groups fought and killed thousands of Soviet troops, sympathizers, and administrators, especially between 1944 and 1947, ending in about 1954, but people kept fighting until about the 60s. August Saba was the last one, and he survived in the woods until 1976. But more importantly for Võro, this was centered in Võrumaa, the Võro-speaking county. These were the strong points of the militants, and many of their sympathizers would have been deported to Siberia. And we notice as it comes to an end in the 60s, the 1960s carry on, this is the main language shift. This is when the Võro language begins to really be truly displaced by Estonian in mass at a more increased rate. So the Forest Brother campaign did actually in the end have perhaps a negative impact upon the Võro language, but it added to a bit of the culture, and it's an important bit to know. About the time that the Forest Brothers fade out and the last of their bands are hunted down, the severest language shift in the Võro happens, incidentally. There's a consolidation of centralizing state, Soviet, communist influence. People who don't agree are shipped to Siberia. There's a lot of using Estonian as a form of resistance against the Soviet state. So Võro is marginalized in terms of identity, but also the communist regime uses Russian as a way to get people to move on in the world. And there's also television coming in, there's increased radio, there's telecommunications coming in by the 80s. This is going to have a negative effect upon the language, which doesn't have any of these behind it. Estonian has some, but it's even weakened by the Russian language at this point. And as the Soviet era ends and the Estonian national movement begins, you have the Võro movement, which begins with Kaika, or summer schools at universities. Kaika, they promote or they teach the music and culture and literature of the Võro. One of the musicians which is prominent is Merika Kuhn. I highly suggest her. She's very beautiful in her voice and her music. She does sing in Estonian and Finnish as well, but there's a lot of Võro, and there's music videos even. If you'd like to have a look at that, I'll include that down below. From 1995, the Võro Institute has been active. It actually helps with teaching materials, getting it out. It helps with something called Tahiki, which is a children's magazine type thing. It's been given to first year students for free and distributed across Burma. It's a really important thing so people have exposure to a written language. And it's also the Estonian government has taken an active role in helping that culture and these publications be flourished, helping with a bit of financial incentives. So there is hope for the future. Midsummer Night's Dream by Shakespeare has been performed and translated into Võro. You have original plays as well that are performed via radio live, which is, you need that in any language, so that's really great that that's happening. Estonian state is established, the Estonian language is written into the constitution as being the language of this new republic, which is kind of bad for the Võro people because their identity or language or dialect is not included in that, and they've been trying to push back against not really push back, but just say, hey, well, we're a part of Estonian identity. How do we manifest our own individualism as a culture within the Estonian state? And it's really difficult because of the coming in of Russia, and you're having to define yourself against a larger state. You don't want divisions within your small state compared to that. Ethnic Russians still live in Estonia, and they're a part of the Estonian nation. So This makes it more difficult again, because you have more people that are Russian in Estonia than there are Võro people. Now, people do get a bit of Võro influence on radio and television, but it's often seen in a pejorative context. You're not seeing the culture through the medium of the Võro people. It's, to use at risk of sounding progressive, it's othering a culture. It's not colonization, but it is it's demeaning in a way. So Võro people do have to contextualize their own identity in a way that many other people wouldn't have to. There has been progress, although the Estonian constitution considers Võro a part of the Estonian language itself. Whether that's fair or not is open to discussion. There's reasonable arguments on both sides. The Estonian Language Act did incorporate the phrase regional varieties of the Estonian language. So while it's considered part of Estonian, it's beginning to get recognition as being a part, having its own root as far as culture goes, which is good for the Võro people. About the time of the Võro Institute being founded, you had the new orthography, or Vatsono-Kiravis. And what this did is it unified the written language, but if you're going to survive as a language, you need a unified way of communicating to each other. So in my opinion, it's good. It's modernizing in a way that's not going to say, we're going to exclude everybody. We need to include as many people as possible, so we need a standard orthography. And that moment in 1995 was important for the language, along with the Võro Institute promoting research in the language and materials. Did a lot of research with place names from the Võro Institute, which helps people get in touch with their landscape through the native language. So that's important. As we go into the future, people are trying to get it classified as a distinct language from Estonian or North Estonian, and whether that succeeds or not is up to the political will of those people. If you would like to learn Võro, I highly suggest it. It's a beautiful language from what I can tell. It's got a lot of history and culture which is very unique, and in a globalized world, smaller languages have something that others can't offer, which is a localized community that you can be part of. The challenge that Võro faces is it's not taught through the medium of Võro in local schools. It's taught as local lore, and so it's marginalized again by the dominant Estonian national culture. Of course, there's the argument that you have to do this because Russia is next door. You cannot be divided. But people argue as well, this is a native language. It's an indigenous language, so people need those rights if they wish it, and that's an ongoing debate. Well, I hope this video gave you a good basic introduction into the Võro people and their language. If you did like the video, please hit the like button down below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, why not do that now? And we'll see you soon.